why would someone want to choose First Form and First Form Outdoors? Your top three reasons.
Okay, so obviously we touched on it a little bit in the beginning about community. I have not interacted with an individual in that group and not felt some sort of like sincere connection of them really caring. Like when you have a conversation with them, whatever it's about, like you could, like I don't waterfowl hunt, talking to people about waterfowl hunting, whatever. I mean, they, they're just good-hearted people that are really drawn into that. Um, and it's just super awesome to be able to interact with countless people from across the states, no matter what. Like we're not segregated. Like, oh, I'm only a mountain west hunter. Like, oh, I'm a Midwest whitetail hunter. Like I'm out east whitetail hunter, down south, whatever. So community's huge.
What is going on? Hope you're having a fantastic start to the year 2024. Here for the next 2 weeks, every single day, you're going to get to hear a story from someone in the First Form Outdoors crew, everyone from the West Coast to the East Coast, north to south, everything in between, bass fishermen, professional bass fishermen, bird hunters, archers, rifle hunters, everything in between. Guys, just outdoorsmen in general, outdoorsmen and women. I want you to understand why they have chosen First Form and First Form Outdoors as their company for supplementation, for nutrition, for workouts, and more, just an outstanding community. And why we want you to be a part of it. So not just from me, but from everyone in the crew, again, from all walks of life and everything outdoors that they really enjoy. You're going to find a story that you can relate with, if not more than one. And I hope you enjoy each one of these stories. Here we go. Let's kick off the new year right. And if you want to join us at First Form Outdoors on the Facebook group, the link is down below. If you have any questions about supplementation, from the protein sticks to the meat sticks, guys, those are my favorite snacks when we're out and about. Also, energy drinks, if that's your thing. We've got everything from post-workout shakes to, in the app that's less than $20 a month, guys, you get a one-on-one advisor. You get someone to help walk you through your nutrition, someone that will hop on live and not just give you a cookie cutter routine, but something to check in with you on a regular basis so you can accomplish your goals here in 2024. Let's get this started off right with the First Form Outdoors crew. Here we go. Hope you enjoy this conversation today and for the next 2 weeks. Let me know what you think. Have a great day. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the RedBeard Outdoors podcast. I've got Alex Schaefer. Alex is just an awesome individual from Wisconsin. I'm not sure the order yet, guys, so either before this or after this, you will have met his future spouse, Corey. Corey has been on the podcast before as well, but Alex is the other half of Barbells and Broadheads, which is the group that I will be linking down below for you guys to go check out. They do some awesome recipes and things along those lines. They love hunting, they love fitness, and just getting after it day in and day out. They live in Wisconsin. I don't know why they enjoy being up there where it's so cold all the time, but that's where they live. And yeah, so they just enjoy getting after it. And I want to have Alex on so that you guys could get a perspective from east to west, north to south, why First Form Outdoors is important, not just for the Western hunter, but for whitetail hunters in the Midwest, up north, and just different people's perspectives as to why First Form and First Form Outdoors is such a big deal, why I talk about it all the time, and you guys get different perspectives from people other than me. So with that being said, Alex, who are you, man?
Hi, I'm Alex Schaefer. Like Jonathan has said, I am from Wisconsin. I am the other, some would say, better half to Barbells and Broadheads, but that's a biased opinion. So, um, yeah, I've been a lifelong hunter. Grew up on a family farm. So my dad still runs that as a kind of like a part-time hobby gig. So I help him out when I can, and that's just where we do predominantly most of our whitetail hunting. We got some trout streams, we do some fishing and stuff like that too. Yeah, and that's just kind of my fitness journey. Kind of was a wobbly one. Kind of started halfway back in like high school, and that kind of falls off when you get into college. You kind of get in your rebel party phase, and I had a buddy convince me to try CrossFit. This would be like 5 years ago now, and that's where my fitness journey picked back up, and then snowballed down. Here we go, and uh, yeah, finding a community like this to kind of mesh the two together is super super cool.
No, for sure. And you guys, you know how Alex, you know how we know Alex does CrossFit? He talked about it.
But it's not the only thing I talked about. I brought up all the hunting first. Yeah, I know it. The typical
Mhm.
stereotype, every time you bring up the word CrossFit, everybody's like, "Oh, this guy's just not going to shut up
Yeah, he
about
talks about it. Yep, he's into CrossFit. That's okay. I always give crap to people about that. But honestly, like you got to give kudos where it's due. CrossFit is an intense style of workout. It is very athletic. It's very
Yeah,
technical. If you get ego involved, you can get hurt really easily. It's something
absolutely.
that, there's certain things that I still don't understand. The floppy fish, which is really the kipping
The
pull up.
kipping pull-ups, yeah.
Yeah, but the stuff like that, I look like the flopping fish. People that know how to do it, it really is a good way of doing a pull up. It's not the same as a strict pull up. It's just different. It's like
100%.
comparing the Appalachian Mountains to the Rocky Mountains. It's good for different reasons.
But
So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, well, the biggest thing about it, that really pulled me into it is like the community that comes with it, right? Like, I mean, I'm in a small town gym, but I
Mhm.
coach there now, and it's just far and away, like, you see members on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and it's just cool to be a part of that. Watch people improve, watch yourself improve. We have a big like a PR board, so we've got all our like main lifts up there, so everybody's and a little bell, so every time you hit one in class, you ring a bell and you write it up on the whiteboard. So that's the cool thing about it. Yeah, that's really what keeps me going. When you get into more like a traditional lifting, I found myself like favoring movements and then kind of neglecting others. Where now where I'm in a class setting where I have to do things that I don't like to do or I'm necessarily not good at to get better at them. So it keeps me
Exactly. Yeah,
pushing there.
there's
So
really a lot of good, especially if you got a good coach, if you have a good community and you're not involving your ego too much, to where you get hurt.
yeah,
It's definitely, there's a lot of benefit to the CrossFit style workouts and movement. There's definitely merit to that for sure. So again, I wanted to bring Alex on here, guys. And by the way, if you guys are ever up in Wisconsin, you're in, shoot, I forgot the name of the town. Where are you guys at again?
Barneveld, Vortex
Yeah.
HQ is right out our back window.
Yeah, if you're in Vortex Town, go check out the no. That's pretty much what it is. But
Yeah,
yeah,
uh-huh.
if you're driving through Barneveld, I highly recommend going to the restaurant that you work at. And what is it
Old
called again?
House Pub. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, OP House is what I called it. It's OPEHAUS. So
It's
it's
a Midwest thing. It's a
yeah,
slang from that Midwest stuff. So enough people come
yeah.
in and call it Opie. It's just like you feel like a jerk correcting them, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's Ope.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Ope House. I was calling it Opie Hoss, but whatever. It is what it is. It's got some really good food, and there's some cool people that work there as well, namely Alex.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I'd recommend going and visiting. It really does. There's really some awesome food there. If you're into that kind of food, it's definitely very rich and flavorful. So highly recommend it if you're driving through or you're visiting, even if you're out to visit like Vortex HQ, whatever it may be. I highly recommend stopping by there. So with that being said, let's talk about, you mentioned community. So I'm imagining that's going to be one of your top three things that you like about First Form and First Form Outdoors. But before we get into your top three things about the First Form Outdoors portion of First Form, what's been your journey with First Form? Did you start with First Form Outdoors? Were you taking First Form supplements before then? What was your kind of your progress through that journey?
So our journey into mine and Corey's collectively was really through these podcasts, right? We had been listening to that for, I would say we stumbled upon it and we were listening to it for about 6 or 7 months. Corey was the first one that kind of started buying some first form supplements and bringing them in. And she actually brought up, 75 hard and trying that. And of course, I was all, at that time, I was like, give up drinking for 75 days? Are you kidding me? And then it was something, the New Year, New Me episode that Andy released. I believe it came out right at the beginning of the year of 2021. or 2022. Yeah. And I listened to that. And it's like, this one resonates with me. So I texted Corey. I was like, all right, let's do it. So downloaded the first format, and that was kind of like full steam ahead. So that's our initial part with first form. That's how we kind of got enrolled with that. And then about 2 months later, Corey had been talking about first Phorm Outdoors, and I think this is when Jake was still getting some really good momentum rolling in the beginning of the whole thing. He and Preston were up at the Beast Mode Archery indoor games up here at Vortex HQ that they unfortunately no longer hold. I think there was some issues with all the amount of lead and stuff that was on the floor that we were crawling and rolling around on, that was probably not safe for us to be inhaling it when you're doing a workout. But we met Jake and Preston there, and then we just kind of snowballed our relationship, stayed in contact with Jake. I kind of built our Jake's. I think Corey really connected Jake with Brian from Beast Mode first, so they came up to a few events, and obviously when Jake and them would come up, we'd go spend some time with them, and then that rolled our involvement into first Phorm Outdoors, and here we are.
Oh yeah, that's outstanding. And it really is a journey. It's funny how many people, I love hearing people's different experience getting into first Phorm and the first Phorm community and then first Phorm Outdoors. Mine was similar, where I was listening to Andy's podcast after I got over the first couple episodes, where he just talks like someone, I don't know, like I hung out with, and I was around military people my entire life. To the point where now I still get questioned if I'm ex-military just around town. I'm like, no, my whole family is. I'll never claim that, but I do have a lot of mannerisms that go along with, even just the way I dress. But so that, all that to say, I'm used to cursing and all of that, being around that. But man, like the first couple podcasts I listened to Andy's MFCEO project, I was like, and my wife had actually recommended it to me. She was like, I think this is someone that you would like. And at the time, I was listening to a lot of E.T. What's his name? Eric Thomas, that motivational speaker, and there was another guy. And I would listen to him every morning before I'd go to the gym. And that's why she pointed out. Anyway, got over the first couple of podcasts, and then I didn't even know he was into first Phorm. I didn't know he was the owner, CEO, nothing, until I don't even remember how it came up. I think I started 75 hard, and then somehow learned about first Phorm there, and I was like, oh wait, I've been listening to Andy for a year now, and I didn't know he was the owner of first Phorm. So anyway, it's cool to hear those stories. But with the first Phorm Outdoors community, and just first Phorm Outdoors in general, I'd like to know from your perspective, what are the top 3 things that you really like, whether it be first Phorm or first Phorm Outdoors specifically. And the reason I ask is because there's a lot of companies out there, a lot of supplement brands, and there's a lot of or I guess there's a handful of supplement companies that cater to hunters, but the majority of those cater to the Western hunter because it is more physically exerting to come out west. It's not to say that you shouldn't be in shape for whitetail out west or out east and Midwest, but it's a different reason to be fit out here versus out there. And so why would someone want to choose first Phorm and first Phorm Outdoors? Your top 3 reasons.
Okay, so obviously we touched on it a little bit in the beginning about community. I have not interacted with an individual in that group and not felt some sort of like sincere connection of them really caring. Like when you have a conversation with them, whatever it's about, like you could, like I don't waterfowl hunt, talking with people about waterfowl hunting, whatever. I mean, they're just good-hearted people that are really drawn into that. And it's just super awesome to be able to interact with countless people from across the states, no matter what. Like we're not segregated. Like, oh, I'm only a mountain west hunter. Like, oh, I'm a Midwest whitetail hunter. Like I'm out east whitetail hunter, down south, whatever. So community's huge. I think that first Phorm Outdoors community does a great job, like breaking the stigma of like the traditional Midwest or east or down south whitetail hunter. Like, yeah, okay, do we have deer camp? Do we drink a couple beers around the fire? For sure. But do you want to do that for a really, really long time? Then you need to take your fitness and your health seriously. Like that, just promoting the long-term benefits of tying fitness into your love for the outdoors. I think they do a great job exemplifying that as a community. And not just like you said, some of these other companies kind of cater to these West mountain hunters, whereas I want to be able to at the time, if I had grandkids, I want to be able to be dragging them out, crawling up a tree stand and hanging out, hunting with them and teaching them things, stuff that I got to do when I was a kid with my grandpa, but for a very limited amount of time before his health went downhill. So that would be number 2. And then number 3, I kind of is a mixture of the community part, but it's just, I don't know. It just, everybody in there is so genuine and they all kind of have the same goal, right? They all want to better themselves for the hunt and they like sharing their tips and tricks with everybody else, right? Like it's not some super secret, like, oh yeah, if I do this in secrecy, I'm going to be, the next Cam Hanes, right? Everybody is, open to share whatever tips that they've had or experiences. And, it's like secondhand knowledge hub for you, right? It's, I could have drop a question about like, hey, how do you guys play the thermals when you're hunting in a deep valley somewhere in, central Wisconsin, and somebody from, that I've never talked to that could live 50 miles from me could jump in on that community and give me their insight and their experiences, or say, hey, I'm planning my first ever over the counter out west elk hunt. And like, hey, anybody got any insight on this? And everybody just jumps in and, dumps their knowledge in there for you, right? Nobody's afraid to not share anything.
100%. It's definitely a community where it's not a crabs in a bucket mentality. Where, and I've said that a couple of times now during these podcasts, and people are going to hear me say that during the week because it really is interesting to me. And I'm a fairly new, I guess you'd call me an adult onset hunter. I didn't really get introduced into hunting out east where I grew up in North Carolina because I didn't personally see the hunt. When I think of hunting, I think of like actually it being a competition between you and the animal.
Yeah.
And I didn't see hunting as sitting in a an elevated box stand with 3 shooting lanes and a rifle, and the furthest you have to shoot is 150 yards. And if they're not at one of those 3 feed stations, then you're not shooting. Like, to me, that wasn't hunting. For people out there that do it, that's awesome. Good for you. It's legal. It gets you excited. Go for it. But for me, that was not it. And so I stuck with fishing until I got out west. And it was just a whole different ballgame for me. And that's where I got involved with it. And so it's been interesting for me to see how many people are so closed off. Now, I want to clarify on that is I don't expect people to drop pins so that everyone can go invade their area, but not helping people is hurting the hunting community. And instead of tearing people down for what pack they wear or what bow they shoot. Now, don't get me wrong, we pick on each other all the time. There's a difference between
Friendly
like
little
joking
jabs.
about it.
Yeah.
Because, you guys are up in freaking Matthews country, so you shoot a Matthews, right? Obviously, you run
Naturally,
Vortex
right?
you're right. You're literally across the road from Vortex.
Pretty
so
biased because I have some friends that work there too. So yeah, it's just like, hey, I need this. What can you hook me up with?
I mean, I even think they have a daycare there, don't they? Something like that.
They sure do.
It's basically their own community. They could just not leave and just Uber Eats everything, and Opie Haas would be able to feed them all the time.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
But with the hunting community, like a big thing that we are trying to drive home with the first Phorm Outdoors community is something that you hit on, is just being willing to share. And also, like, if you come in there asking for pins and stuff like that, you're going to get looked down on, not because of you not knowing, but because of your lack of willingness to earn it and put in the work. If I was to come to Wisconsin and I just, rolled up at your house and said, hey, tell me where all your good whitetail are and give me permission on your property, you'd be like, what the heck? you know? And I mean, that's kind of what happened with you and Corey, right? She just kind of came up and you're like, hey, she's a pretty woman. I'm going to let her come hunt my property.
Yeah, and then she kills all my big deer. Yep.
I wasn't going to say that, but since you
It's all
said
right. Anybody that follows us on the Instagram or sees our Facebook page, they'll find that out pretty quickly that she comes up and she's got the gold horseshoe.
Right, exactly. But with that being said, like there's a certain level of effort you should put in, but we're not completely closed off to where we're like, well, just northern Utah, like we're not those kind of people. And that's what we want to discourage in the hunting community, because we want people to get in. We encourage people to work for it, but also we want to help you know your resources is a good way of putting it. And there's a lot of resources in the outdoors community, the Phorm Outdoors community. And then you mentioned, the community aspect just in general is just like, and that seems to be kind of almost the biggest part for you is the community aspect. You may drink the Kool-Aid of CrossFit, but you also drink the Phorm Kool-Aid. It's best flavor right there.
You know what?
I
think the tropical lightning is right up there, like a 1A and 1B with the orange sunrise in my mind.
With you.
But
did you know that they were considering naming it Liquid Gold?
See, I could get behind that. I would vouch for that. But
that was one of the names that was tossed around for the Tropic Lightning. Yeah, and of course they couldn't do Tropic Thunder because that was just an epic movie. But
absolutely.
They might get canceled for that one. Yeah. Oh man. So with that being said, like obviously the community is a huge portion for you. And then I don't want to put words in your mouth, but when you say sharing tips, sharing ideas, helping each other out, and you did mention kind of what was the word you used? Like a hub, like a
knowledge hub.
Knowledge hub. Okay. Yeah. So if you were to wrap that into one word, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but would you say education?
Yeah, I would say that would wrap that into one word for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, because so from the perspective of someone who's not a Legionnaire, which for those that don't know, a Legionnaire is the beefed up version of an affiliate program. If you want to dumb it down, I don't want to say dumb it down, but simplify it for what it is. Mm-hmm. It is you are representing the brand in a capacity that you are educating other people about it. Now, of all the companies that I've worked with in the past, Phorm is their level of education is unmatched. I mean, you almost come out of, if you do it right and you go through all the education in the back office as a Legionnaire, you could come out with basically your nutrition certification. Mm-hmm. You could basically go take your test and know enough about nutrition that you could be the point of it is to be helpful. We're not just trying to sell stuff. And we want to educate people on whether it be in this case hunting and etc., but also with the supplements. We don't want people to just be replacing everything in their diet with a supplement. We want to actually help people find out what they're lacking so that we can help them fill those gaps with supplementation.
Yeah. The dictionary definition of supplement, right? It's not just a replacement, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's not replacements, right? It's a supplement, right? Yep. And so it's something that it's not a one size fits all. There's so many flavors out there that it's ridiculous. How many odd flavors there are, like root beer float. People think like, what the heck? Root beer float and protein sounds disgusting, but it's actually really good. So, things like that, I highly recommend. And also with that as well, understand that there is it's basically, it's not called a no risk guarantee, but it's basically that. It's 110% money back guarantee on anything you get from Phorm. And I don't know, and Alex, maybe you can correct me on this, and anyone that's listening to this or watching it on YouTube, drop a comment, send me an email, write an angry whatever you want to do, and correct me on this. But I don't know of any other company, especially not a supplement company, that offers 110% money back guarantee on a product, even if you just don't like the flavor. It's not even that the product was open or anything. It's just, I don't like the flavor. Do you know of any?
I personally have not known of any either to have anything like that of the sorts.
And anyone that I've talked with about it, they're like, wait, what? like not even just 100%. And not again, not if there's a problem with the product, it's the flavor that you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
You can reach out to customer support, and within 24 hours to 48 hours, depending on the day of the week, generally within those 24 hours, you will have not only a response, but a solved issue within those
Mm-hmm.
first 24 hours. Someone
Yep.
here in the US that is really wants you to I guess know the product and get what you're wanting. And the reason behind that is if you don't like the way it tastes even, or the way it mixes, which I've never had someone say they don't like the way something mixes from First Form, but if there's something about it that you don't like, we know that you won't continue to use it, which in turn does not benefit you. It's not even that it doesn't benefit First Form. It doesn't benefit you if you bought a tub of protein that sits there for 2 years because you didn't like the flavor or you have to choke it down or whatever it is. We want to know that feedback and we want to get that fixed for you. And so, I mean, I again, I don't know of any other company out there that does that.
Yeah. That being said, too, I don't think in 3 years now of using the supplements that I've had a flavor that I don't like enough to hammer through 28 or 30 servings of the whole thing. Usually the
Exactly.
flavors that I do like, Corey also likes, and then she hoards them with her, and then
Yep.
I'm
Exactly.
stuck with the
Exactly.
leftover tubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So those are definitely huge highlights of First Form Outdoors and the community. It's just something that I recommend for anyone, whether you're even if you're not into hunting and fishing, which obviously a lot of people in the community are. We're all outdoorsmen and women, and we want you to enjoy the outdoors more. A big reason for First Form Outdoors, and you were mentioning the mission and education and community, and how you even before that you were talking about how you only had limited time with your grandpa before his health tanked, and you weren't able to spend that time outdoors with him like you wish you would have been able
Mm-hmm.
to. Those are all things that we keep on the forefront of our minds because we want you to be around for your grandkids and great grandkids. Obviously, short of some crazy event happening that's out of your control, everything that's in your control, we want to help you with.
Mm-hmm.
And getting more physically in shape. Again, whether you're a whitetail hunter, whether you're a fisherman, whether you're hiking, just enjoy camping, whatever it may be, we want you to be able to do that for years and years on end. And that's where this community comes into play. There's tons of chats in the community that you can, be a part of, whether, again, depending on the hobby that you really enjoy. I'm going to harp on this too, is that you'll find another hiking buddy, or you'll find other friends that have families that have kids, maybe your kids' age, that you guys can do a meetup, go camping for the weekend, whatever, things like that. There's tons of opportunity in this community that I can't say that I know of many other communities that are that all encompassing and inclusive, on Facebook. But that's just an amazing opportunity for everyone out there. And like Alex has said,
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think I could have said it any better myself. I mean, it's just a wonderful place full of wonderful people, and everybody's so encouraging. Like that stigma, like everybody's fitness journey starts somewhere, right? You don't have to be a seasoned athlete, but what was that thing? Like the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the next best thing is, or next best day is tomorrow, or today, right now, or whatever, however that saying goes. I don't
yeah,
remember. Kind of butchered it, but same thing with your fitness journey, right? Yeah, maybe you could have started 10 years ago, but what's stopping you from starting now, right? Other than your
exactly.
mind.
Exactly.
So,
And you might have to put a little bit more effort in now to get the same outcome that if you had 10 years ago started, maybe that's the case. But either way, start today. Today
mhm.
is huge. And having a community is a big deal because we don't want you falling off, because all of these episodes are going to be the first week of January. So as you're getting your New Year's resolutions ironed out, finalized, if that's your thing, we want it to become an all year resolution, not just your new year, new me kind of idea, like what you were saying with Andy's podcast.
Mhm.
That may be the Kickstarter for you, but we don't want you to fall off in February and March when the majority of people do. We want you to continue throughout the year and until your goal is accomplished. And once that goal is accomplished, we want you to move the goalpost to accomplish even more. We don't want you to just become stagnant. We want you
Mhm.
to enjoy life to the fullest, but also understand that you have to put in some work to be able to enjoy life to the fullest. So Is there anything that we missed that you wanted to hit on with First Phorm or First Phorm Outdoors?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we hammered down, and I feel like that's a common thing that everybody else is going to talk about. Is the community is the big driver, right?
Yep.
You can't have this kind of I don't know, growth and just positive growth without a quality community that's backing everything up behind it. And I feel like they're knocking it out of the park, right? Like I said, I haven't interacted with somebody that hasn't just give you that good feeling when you're having that conversation that they're actually enthused to talk to you with whatever you're talking about. So
Exactly.
that's awesome.
100%. And it's definitely policed in a way that if there are people that are like that, we at least have a conversation with them before, not letting them be in the group. We want to make sure that everyone's getting a fair shot and shake, and that everyone is living the standards that we, want everyone to embody. And that's just simply be a better version of yourself. As Jake says, and he's got his podcast, the Experience More podcast, but First Phorm Outdoors was based on experiencing more of the outdoors, more of life, more of your family, more memories being made. And of course, just living that happier, healthier, more successful life, whatever success is for you. That's what we want in general. So with that being said, Alex, where can people find you? And then, of course, give a shout out to your group on Facebook.
Absolutely. So Facebook, Alex Schaefer on Facebook, Instagram, Schaefer.alex1995. And then we have Barbells and Broadheads on Instagram and Facebook. And we also have a group on Facebook where we share recipes, we share hunting tips and tactics, we share fitness tips and tactics. And I go live every Sunday, go over all meal prepping. Wow, words are tough. And we have a couple random posts throughout the week for motivation and stuff like that. So
awesome. Very cool. Guys, I'm going to leave the links down below. I want you to go check out their group. Of course, get into the First Phorm Outdoors Facebook group as well. And go check out Alex's page and get some good recipes, get you started here on the new year, and build your community so that you can be successful. You don't drop off with everyone else, and don't become another statistic that just falls off the bandwagon after February and March this year. We want you to accomplish all your goals and more. And so come experience more with the First Phorm Outdoors team. With that being said, guys, thanks again, Alex, for hopping on. And like I always say, get out, live your life, and love it.